kingdom of Israel.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
The book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 11. It says, "Thou wilt show me the path of life." So we're on the path of life. The path of life leads to paradise. The path of life leads to glory, which the glory is the kingdom of heaven. And we're on that path of life. We're walking on the path of the tree of life to gain eternal life.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothed the grass which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
To eternal peace and joy.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakapadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us young brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakapadash. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai. All right, so in this morning news and prophecy, man, there's a lot going on. Okay, that's why it's entitled, polycrisis, which when you get into that word polycrisis, let's go into the definition real quick. All right, polycrisis. Should have had it pulled up already, so lucky. But let's go here to the definition of polycrisis, because the scriptures speak of, polycrisis, and even when you go into the root word, of crisis, it goes into, judgment, condemnation. All right. And what we're seeing is the judgment of the Lord, all all right, begin, to escalate in the earth, man. And it's going to come in many forms. That's why when you go through the scriptures, it speaks of many different forms, okay, of judgment. Okay, it speaks of many different forms of judgment. Matter of fact, if a brother want to put that Sirach 39 and 24, 20, yes, I think 24 through like 26, Bible shot, Sirach chapter 39, I believe it's verses, now it might be 28, might be 28 through 29, you will know it when you see it, Bible shot. So it says the polycrisis is the simultaneous, all right, occurrence of several interconnected catastrophic crises such as a climate change, geopolitical conflict, pandemics, and economic instability that interact and amplify each other, creating a total impact greater than the sum of their than the sum of their parts. The term highlights a new era of systemic interlocking risk. Yeah, so what we're seeing is a ripple effect. These certain events is having compound effects. So this war, all right, is going to cause what? An energy crisis. Okay. And then you have now you throw a pestilence in the game. Okay. So now you have energy crisis or war compounded with a pestilence. Okay. And then you also have droughts. There's droughts, Lord will we get into all these things. Okay. Which compounds with what? Because if you don't have water nor fertilizer, then ain't no crops. Okay. So you have now a poly crisis where you have, this one event creates another event, and then those two events together create two or three more events, two or three more crises, man. So it's like these crises are giving birth to each other, man. Okay. And this is the will of the Lord going forth. Now we know Esau plays a part in manufacturing things, but who's pushing Esau to do these things? It's the Lord. The Lord is pushing Esau on the left hand side. All these ideas that Esau has, okay, the ones that he's able to pull off is the will of the Lord. Because there's a lot of things that the devil attempts to do that he's not able to do. Okay. But then there's things that he's able to accomplish because it's the will of the Lord. Okay. So this is the will of the Lord that we're seeing. All right. And you have things, like I say, orchestrated, manufactured through the elites. All right. And then you're going to have things just directly from, all right, the Most High, man. Okay. That's beyond what the elites, got going on. All right. And the elites are just, okay, a tool being used by the Most High to bring about, all right, judgment, and they finna be judged, the elites, at the end of it, man. So what we're seeing is polycrisis, which all these things are spoken of in the Bible. Okay, all these things are written to happen in the Bible, the time of polycrisis, man. And we're gonna get that. Okay, so that's why when you go, okay, yeah, and then you can, if you can put verse 29 as well, bro. Bible Shop put verse 29. Okay, well let's cue this up. Let's get this in the GNT, second Ezra 15 in the GNT, and then we'll get that as well. What the brother got. Yeah, man, because it's finna get crazy out here, man. People are finna lose it. Okay, you finna see desperation around another level. Okay, people, the scripture, love of many shall wax cold. All right, comforts are finna be snatched away, convenience finna be snatched away, liberties, okay, finna be snatched away. All right, and it says, this the brother servant of Yahushua, Sirach 39:28. It said, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction. And we in that time. All right, and we're finna see a lot of spirits of vengeance go forth. Death angels gonna be hopping on people. See, mass shootings finna be, they call 2 or 3 unalivings. They say, oh, it's a mass shooting. No, we finna really see that shooting take off on another level. Okay, because people are finna lose everything, man. People are already at the breaking point. Okay, but we're finna see, all right, civil unrest, man, and these death angels finna get active out here, man. Okay? Because we're in the time of destruction. They shall pour out their fierce and appease the wrath of him that made them in the Lord's will in the earth, man, through judgment. See, the angels get off on coming to the earth, all right, and executing the Most High's judgment, man. Okay? The judgment of Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right? Because now we know these angels answer to Yahweh Shai now. You see? So through the Heavenly Father, all right, through Yahweh Shai, these angels are being dispatched to wreak havoc in the earth, man. They're stirring up the minds of these kings for war. Okay? I'm saying? Going back to certain things that the leaks got going on, but then there's certain things, that the Lord, all right, is conjuring up for his purpose, man. That's why we follow the war, because this war is going to escalate to fulfill the will of the Lord. Okay. The elites, they're trying to manipulate, they're manipulating what's happening with the war now, to create a global reset. Okay. Well, remember, it's going to go beyond their intended agenda, man. Okay. So this is the brother Yaqub, the Hopeful Elect 3, Sirach 39 and 29 says, fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. You see, all these different things, fire and hell, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, man. And the Lord's going to take vengeance on the earth, man. Because the earth has been very proud and rebellious against our power, man, especially here in America, where it's going to be the worst. Okay. So let's go to Second Esdras, okay, 15. This is the GNT. Okay. So this Second Esdras 15 and 1, it said, the Lord says, proclaim to my people the prophetic messages, all right, that I will give you. And one thing our people can't say that the Lord didn't tell them, because through the ministry of the prophets, the Lord has constantly warned our people about the times that we're coming into. You see, now we in these times, man, now we're at the door. Now we're pulling in the driveway, okay, of prophecy, man. Okay, we're right here. You see, and these things are speeding up, man. Okay, every day there's something developing, man. And every month it seems like this thing is going to another phase, man. Ever since February 28, when these devils, launched their strike on Iran, man, things have fast forward, okay, to a whole nother phase, man. And it's the Lord's doing. All right. And the Lord has had his prophets speaking of these things for decades, man. Telling you the same thing over and over again. Like Jacob said, y'all speak about the same thing. Well, okay, that's a condemnation to you, because we're saying the same thing. Okay. So you have no excuse. Okay. When these things happen, man, a lot of Jake can get caught up in his judgment, man. Okay. It says, and then have them written down, because they are true and will be fulfilled, which is the Bible. Okay. So this is the purpose of the Bible. All right. So the prophets can, okay, go into the Bible and break down the will of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, the things that are to come. Okay. The things that the Lord promised will happen. You see? So prophecy is the future will of the Lord. Okay. That's why they're true. All right. The Lord is going to fulfill everything that's written. So as we go into the scriptures and break down, okay, the prophetic message of the scriptures, okay, well, these things will be fulfilled, all right, and everything has their appointed time. It says, don't be afraid of those who plot against you or be disturbed by their unbelief. Yeah, your unbelief, okay, your unbelief is doesn't affect, okay, the prophecies from being fulfilled, from the Lord executing his will in the earth. Okay. And see, they can just ignore this thing away. Okay. They think they can just fan the hand, okay, at the prophets. Okay, just because they don't believe what's being said, that these things don't matter to them. Nah, man, it don't work like that. Okay. The fact that you have unbelief, guess what? You're playing your part in prophecy, man. Because someone has to not believe. Okay, you have a remnant that's predestined to be delivered, to believe, to repent, to come back, to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, and truth and sincerity, but then you have also a predestined of unbelievers, man. Okay? There's a predestination for unbelief, which fulfills prophecy, man. Okay? So your unbelief doesn't hinder. Okay, the Lord is not waiting, okay, for someone who is meant to, or who's predestined not to believe to believe. No, your unbelief, okay, plays a part in the whole grand scheme of prophecy, man. Verse 4, all unbelievers would die because of their unbelief. Okay. You see, so your unbelief is a witness against you, man. You see, that's condemnation. Your unbelief is you're condemning yourself. See, Jake think that it's cute that they don't believe and they get to mock and laugh. You know, the whole TikTok movement of Jake coming against the truth. And okay, Jake is an atheist now. You know, it's cute to be an atheist and question the Bible. Well, guess what? That's your condemnation. Okay? All you're doing is incriminating yourself. Jake, to get on these, you know, and even our people that don't be on TikTok, just their lack of urgency towards this truth, man. You know, the fact that they're not repenting, okay? The fact that they're not taking heed to the alarm that's being sounded, man, okay, is a witness against them. You see, it said the Lord says, I'm going to bring terrible disasters on the world, war, famine, death, and destruction. That's polycrisis, man. War, famine, death, and destruction, man. These are polycrisis, man. Okay, this is different things happening at the same time for the Lord to bring about his judgment, man. Okay, it said verse 6, because wickedness has spread everywhere and evil has reached its limit, man. And see, the Lord, this is judgment. This is not just random events happening. This is judgment happening. Okay, this is judgment of the Lord going forth, man. This is righteous judgment, okay, escalating in the earth. Okay, this is not just random events, man. You know, so from the elites to, all right, a stray nigga walking around the neighborhood, man. All right, the Lord's righteous judgment is beginning to escalate, man. Okay, so the Lord's finna send his judgment in the earth, man, on a mass scale. All right, because the earth is out of pocket. Under the rulership of Esau, man, the earth is out of pocket. Okay, Esau has the majority of the earth out of pocket, man. Okay, Esau set the majority of the earth outside of the elect. He set them up for failure. 2/3 set up for failure. These other nations in conglomerate with this nigga in this new world order, all right, they said they're set up for failure. Okay, they're set up to be judged, whether through death. All right, these heathens, you're set up to be judged through death or enslavement. Okay, and 2/3 you're set up for death, man. You're set up for torment. Okay, following this nigga, man. Okay, it says, therefore, the Lord says, I will no longer remain silent about the wickedness of this godless people. And that's why he raised up the prophets to verbalize his disapproval of this society, man. You see, we're just a messenger, man. Okay, the Lord is this has a major, all right, discrepancy with this current age, man. All right, he's extremely disgruntled and he disapproves of this current age, man. Okay, so we're verbalizing the Lord's unapproval of this age, man. Okay, and his anger at this age, man. You know, the anger that you hear on brothers, that's the anger of the Lord. Okay, the Lord is disapproved at this place, man. Okay, there's a major disapproval of this age, man, because it's completely wicked and anti-Messiah, it's anti-righteous, it's anti-life. Okay, the Lord didn't create the earth to be in the perpetual self-destruct mode, man. Okay, so it says, I will no longer tolerate it. All right, so the Lord's getting to the point to where he can't tolerate this place, man. That's why he's speeding things up. Okay, why he's causing events to happen. Okay, he's the one masterminding everything we see, man. He's the mastermind, all right, behind these events that's happening, man. Okay, the Lord is conjuring up the end of Esau's kingdom. They have murdered innocent people, and the blood they spill, all right, have spilled cries out for me for revenge. The souls of the righteous are constantly, okay, pleading for vengeance. Okay, because we know it's gonna come a time to where you know, they mandate this MOTB, there's going to be believers beheaded, okay, for the testimony of Yahushua. You know, for standing stiffly for their name, there's going to be believers, all right, that's going to be beheaded, okay, and their righteous blood is going to cry out, okay, because when this devil mandates this MOTB, okay, and you know, they get to beheading believers for not taking it, man, it's not going to be long, okay, it's not going to be long before, all right, the return of Yahushua, and he's going to come take vengeance, and he's going to overturn their death sentence, man, and raise those believers up immortal, to be immortal, man. You see, hey, it gets better for us. It only gets better for us, man. Even from the outside looking in, okay, no matter how it looks, like, cause someone that doesn't believe it, like, oh, he's dying for nothing, she's dying for nothing. You know, they should have just took the, you know, so they're gonna die for this. They're gonna die about this invisible guy. See, on the outside looking in, it's gonna look foolish, man. Okay, but at the return of Yahushua, you see, it's gonna make all the sense, man. And that's our belief. Okay, so we coming into times, man, as the scriptures speak about, man, Yahushua is coming, you know, to revenge, okay, his elect, man. Okay. And we come to the time of miracles, because in the midst of this is going to be miracles, because that's just, you know, you go into those that are beheaded for not taking the sea here. Well, that's not the case for all the believers, man. All right, there are going to be some, okay, there's still a lot, but that's not going to be the case for everyone, man. There's going to be a standard lifted. There's going to be miracles in the midst of all this, man. Okay. So we're coming into a very busy time, man, where things are going to move quick. And that's why in this grace period, this was our time to be rooted in what we believe, man, getting our minds right, man. Getting ready to let this place go, man. Getting ready to leave the world behind, you know, and put it all on the line for Yahushua. Okay, so let there be no doubt, says the Lord, I will hear the plea of all the innocent people who have been murdered, and I will take vengeance for what has been done to them. My people are being led to the slaughter like a flock of sheep. They will no longer have to live in Egypt, man. So the Lord's not going to allow this devil, okay, to just take out all the believers, man. Okay, just like this new world order, it's going to seem like he's, you know, prospering in this new world order. Okay, it's going to seem like, you know, he's, erasing the truth out the earth. You know, the famine of the word. You know, he's going to have believers, you know, being rounded up and, you know, some beheaded. Okay, so it's going to seem like, you know, this nigga is on the way to some type of victory, man. But see, that's when we got to know a victory for Esau is not written. You see, we got to be rooted in that belief now. Okay, so we can't go into this thing shaky and doubtful and nah, man. We got the victory, man. No matter how it looks in the moment, we got the victory, man. Okay, going into these times, man, because it's a lot that's going to be happening. It's going to be quick, man. Okay, and we're not going to have these videos, and you know, you're not going to be able to go to, you know, you're not going to have, you know, an external Bible. This word got to be in us, you know. That's why we got to live this thing, man. You see, we got to become what we teach, man. So in these moments, man, we got the anchor, which is Yahushua. Okay, it says, my people are being led to the slaughter like a flock of sheep. They will no longer have to live in Egypt. I will use all my strength and power to bring them out of their land. Okay, which you know, it's going to be with mighty, and the Lord's going to showcase a lot of power, you know, because the Lord's power can't be measured, you know. So you can't sum up the Lord's power and say all, you know, which I say this the GNT, okay, because in KJV it says with a mighty hand, okay, and stretched out arm. All right, speaking of Yahushua, okay, which you know Yahushua is coming with great power. Okay, so I will bring disaster upon the Egyptians as I did earlier, as it says, plagues as before. All right, so we're going to see America get hit with plague after plague, man. Okay, America is going to be the worst. Is going to be the worst place to be in the earth. You know, people think Like people now thinking, well, their main thing for a while is dodging the draft. Every time America starts a war, it's like people get to looking up the draft and what's the stipulation and rules and how to dodge it and see, that's just one thing. Okay, dodging the draft doesn't put you in the clear. Okay, because America is going to be the worst place to be. Okay, and as the Lord's judgment escalates in the earth, man. You see, because America finna get hit with plague after plague. Okay, it said the whole land will be in mourning. It will be shaken to its foundation and pound on it, man. And that's gonna be through those missiles, man. Okay, that's gonna be the climax. Okay, is the missiles, man. It's gonna pound this place to the desert. Okay, and leading up to the missiles, man, this place gonna be pounded with plagues, man. Okay, crisis after crisis, man. Okay, 13, the farmers will mourn because their seed will fail to sprout and their trees will be destroyed by blight, hail, and terrible storms. Okay, this is where we at. Okay, this is where we at, man. The Lord is escalating these crises, man. It's the Lord that's amplifying these crises in the earth, man. Okay, remember the elites are too. Okay, they're doing the bidding of the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side. Okay, and they're walking themselves into judgment as they're doing the Lord's bidding, man. So the Lord got this thing mapped out perfectly, man. And it all works in our favor. Now, let's go from there. Let's start off, with these videos. So let's go here first, all right, which we know the new thing on the block, the new crisis on the block is this all right, this hantavirus. Okay, so let's play this, all right, and show you that it's looking like they're gonna run with this thing, man. And we'll see. And Lord will they do, man. Lord will they do, man, because these compounding crises bring the end to this place swiftly, man. And it's gonna accelerate beyond what these elites can control. It's gonna accelerate, man. So let's play this.
Tracking a new case of hantavirus linked to that outbreak on a cruise ship. They say a man who was on board has tested positive.
The recommendation is for people to remain in their cabins. Obviously, that's not very pleasant for everyone for a long period of time. We understand, plenty of food, plenty of water on board. So people are being fed, and they are doing some decontamination on board, disinfection in the cabins themselves. So we've asked about any rats on board. We've been told there are no rats on board. So there are lots of different things.
I think some people are worried that this whole thing started probably on the ship. It probably actually started prior to the ship, where two of these individuals clearly got infected. A little complicated because the incubation period for this virus can be any 8 weeks. So you don't quite know. We saw these additional cases that got sick later in April. Were they sick because they got infected on the ship? Or were they sick because they also were exposed in Argentina prior to getting on the ship? And I'm sure the epidemiology. One thing that is disconcerting, not alarming, but disconcerting, is this is the one hantavirus, the Andes virus, that has been shown historically to be able to be transmitted human to human. The other viruses are all rodent to man, rodent to man, rodent to man, rodent to man. The Andes virus has clearly shown the capability, rarely, but it can go human to human.
There you go. Okay, now they're saying it can go human to human. It's done mutated. Okay, it was, only rodent to man, rodent to man. Now, they're saying it can go human to human. Here we go. And Lord will, they run with the narrative, man. This is a good one, huh? Run with it, like brother said, like brother Yaquab said, man. Bring the shutdown, man. It's a good one to run with, man. Okay, that nigga listening, man. Run with this one, huh? All right, say go for it all, man. Okay, so we'll see, man. Let's play some more of this.
What can you tell us about this case and the current situation on the ship?
Errol, yes. Well, currently this morning, French media is reporting that the Ministry of Health there that a French continent, MV Hondius, and its 150 passengers or so are still stuck off the coast of Cape Verde after getting there on Monday. We've also gotten confirmation that the strain of hantavirus can jump from person to person.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
Overnight, the 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms were to be evacuated.
The plan now is for the ship to continue on to the Canary Islands.
So far, 3 passengers have died and 2 others have been hospitalized, one in South Africa, another in Switzerland.
We do believe that there may be some human-to-human transmission that's happening among the really close contacts, the husband and wife, people who've shared cabins.
Hantavirus typically spreads from dust contaminated by rodent droppings or saliva. But the Andes strain can spread from person to person and is only found in regions of South America. The Dutch cruise ship left Argentina on April 1st and has been moored off the West African island of Cape Verde since Sunday.
This was an expedition boat, and many of the people on board were doing bird watching. They were doing, a lot of things with wildlife. So our assumption is they were infected off the boat and then joined the cruise.
Video shows officials from the World Health Organization boarding the ship, covered in personal protective equipment, there to monitor for any new cases with full disinfection set for when the MV Hondius reaches Spain's Canary Islands.
Potential to spread beyond an outbreak is very small.
Health officials tempering worry for the public.
A cruise ship that's been hit by hantavirus, people ill on board. They're currently stuck outside Cape Verde. They had been promised safe passage and able to disembark in the Canary Islands. However, the leader of Spain's Canary Islands has just told Reuters, according to Reuters, rejected the fact that the hantavirus hit cruise ship is able to dock there. The leader of Spain's Canary Islands has said that ship will not be allowed to dock in the Canary Islands. He's also demanded an urgent meeting with the Spanish Prime Minister Sanchez to discuss the situation. So the leader of the Canary Islands has rejected the docking of the ship infected by hantavirus. You can see it currently there just off the coast of Cape Verde. Some passengers who are infected, who are ill, will be able to disembark in Cape Verde to get that immediate medical attention. But it is unclear what happens to the rest of them.
Brutal. So now, it was supposed to dock in the Canary Islands. All right. But now the Canary Islands is rejecting, this ship. Okay. This quarantine ship. Okay. Which contains people, they have died from the hantavirus, man. Okay. So now let's see how they're going to spin that narrative, man. Let's play a little more. I got another one.
I mean, can you imagine just being stuck with nowhere to go in the meantime? Of course, it comes after the WHO and the EU tried to intervene to help change the direction of travel of this, but no solution yet.
And it was going to be 3 to 4 days even to get to the Canary Islands. And if they were unable to dock there, it gives you a bit of a sense of the scale of time we're talking for the people still on that ship.
This is a story that has now so many different strands. One is what's happening on board the ship in Cape Verde, where we know the 3 people have been taken off. 2 of them were in a serious condition. The third was, as we understand it, asymptomatic, but was closely linked to a German passenger who died on the 2nd of May. And now, for precautionary reasons, it was felt that they also needed to be under the close supervision of medical authorities. Now, as they've been taken ashore at Cape Verde, there is a medical flight, a specialist flight that will be going out to take, will have high level of medical care available on board. There are also 2 infectious diseases consultants who will be joining the ship, according to Oceanwide Expeditions, as it then travels on to the Canary Islands with, by my count, 146 passengers still on board. What they're thinking at the moment, goodness knows, because Cape Verde has said they cannot come ashore, and it seems uncertain at the moment whether they will be allowed ashore in the Canary Islands. But the feeling is that that is the closest port where they can disembark, be screened, receive medical attention if necessary, and be repatriated home. So it's an uncertain situation at the moment, and it is developing rapidly this morning.
Yeah, so let me see. Fast forward a little bit. All right, here you go. World Health Organization representative speaks. All right, so WHO back on the scene. All right, WHO, they back. All right, which they, under emergency situations, they can, begin to lock down these governments, man. If this thing begins, they can run with the narrative of outbreak. All right. And when WHO gets involved, WHO, they sign, certain treaties. All right. A lot of nations signed on, a lot of governments. All right. And gave WHO, okay, authority, okay, in time of emergency, man. Okay. To call for lockdowns, okay, to set up standards or restrictions. And like I say, WHO, okay, is nothing but an entity of the elites of central control. They can pose as non-elected, okay, officials, okay, of world health, but ultimately just a tool of control of the elites, man. All right, to be able to set mandates as if these mandates are for your best interest. That's even the title, World Health Organization. Okay, what the hell do they do? All right, the earth is unhealthy as it's ever been. So what the hell do they do? What do these niggas do, man? In the meantime, you only see these niggas during crisis, man. Okay, they do nothing to improve your day-to-day health in this society. But when crisis come, these niggas pop up with all the instructions, man. Okay, so let's play this a little more.
For a quarantine, that will be the decision of the health, maybe sampling, testing, etc. And then if there is the need for a quarantine, that will be the decision of the health authorities.
How long will this for these passengers?
8 weeks is a horribly long time to be quarantined, right?
Yeah.
And these passengers have already been contained within the boat for a very long time. We have been worried about the mental health of the passengers, the uncertainty, the unclarity, and how they are feeling to be contained in.
And I'm gonna put this in the description box. I'm got another one, because guess who else is back on the scene? Okay. Guess who else is on the scene? So let's go from there. My brother can put that 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right. 2 Corinthians 2:11 in the NLT Bible. So let's go here. Okay. Now I think this is an older interview. Okay. But here we go with this guy, man. The BG. Okay. And this nigga, all right, he's been on the scene just in the background. See, these people just pop up in a time of crisis with all the answers and instructions on what to do. Okay. Here it is. This nigga is supposed to be a computer CEO, a tech CEO. Okay, but he has all the advice when it comes to the health, okay, in the direction of the world. Okay, so you got this guy, and you're gonna see more of him. Okay, saying what need to be done next. Okay, in the time of crisis, man, it's the same crew. So let's play this.
And it won't be the last pandemic. The next one could be far more severe. I mean, this one, it killed millions. It was awful. We got the vaccine. Actually, President Trump's leadership was a factor in getting that out quickly. And so when I spoke to him, I said, okay, here's some other medical innovations, including a thing called an HIV it can be accelerated. So, we should be more prepared, both for a pandemic. I'd say that's still number one. You can worry about nuclear war. You can worry about AI. There's plenty to worry about. But overall, I'm an optimist. No, I mean, it's up to the government to think ahead on behalf of the citizens.
Yes.
So, a pandemic, there's a lot that we should be doing that hopefully we'll get our act together before the next one comes. Overall, the innovation in health, both in the developing countries, the rich world, I love being part of that.
I was reading, though, that you said the next pandemic you are predicting within maybe 25 years. Is that
Certainly
accurate?
we'll have one in the next 25 years. There's even some pathogens out there that we're watching over right now.
Meantime, you are looking.
Yeah, so these devils, okay, they had this in the making, in their first pandemic, was a trial run, okay? But now we see the spirit is moving these devils, to come out with everything, man. And it's the Lord pushing these devils to come on with it, all right? Because he knows that he had but a short time. He knows that he's limited, okay? Certain things that he's trying to pull off is failing, is backfiring. So the nigga know he got a short time, so he got to come off with all stops, man. Okay? So let's go here. It's a certain part. All right. But they're still dealing with that. I think it's towards the end. Here we go. All right, let's see.
But the risk to the public remains low.
The Dutch cruise ship is still stuck in the Atlantic because what this story really needed was more time to cook. Yesterday it was just mildly terrifying. Today,
I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
And you can tell it's a crisis actor, man. Fake as hell. All right. Little fruit basket, all right. You can tell this is fake as hell. Crisis actor, man. You see?
We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
it's officially entered we might all be screwed territory. So let's check in on this floating petri dish that left Argentina full of happy vacationers and has since decided to become a hantavirus hotspot. 1 death? Cute. 3 deaths? Time to slow the boat down. Now we've got confirmed cases, changing CDC guidelines, and a virus that apparently decided the only spreads from rodents rule was more of a suggestion. And yes, this is the same virus that took Gene Hackman's wife last year, while she was apparently living in a house that looked like a rat timeshare. Multiple active nests. Just casually chilling in the living room like it was normal. But sure, this is a luxury cruise ship. Crystal chandeliers, unlimited buffets, and now, hantavirus. Because nothing says relaxing ocean getaway like breathing in the same air as a virus that's not supposed to spread between humans. Scientists are fascinated. This isn't how it's supposed to work, they keep saying, while quietly updating their own guidelines because, surprise, it might actually be spreading person to person now. And the timing is just chef's kiss. Symptoms can take up to 8 weeks to show up. So even if they test every single passenger today, we could all be sitting here for months wondering who's secretly infected. How delightful. We started with 3 deaths and 1 person in critical condition. Now we're at least 7 confirmed cases, more deaths, more people in the ICU, and several others showing symptoms. The plot thickens. But the real upgrade? The CDC used to say you could only get this from touching infected rodent urine, droppings, or nesting material. Now they're like, actually, if you mess with enough of that stuff, it can become airborne. Have fun. It's a Dutch cruise line, but don't get too comfortable. We already have Dutch, German, and British fatalities.
And the rest of the passengers? People from literally every corner of the planet, all trapped together on one big floating biohazard with no idea who's carrying what. The CDC's current official position? Human-to-human transmission? Not impossible. So to recap, international passengers, 8-week incubation, possible airborne hantavirus, and zero idea how many people are already carrying it. Welcome to 2026, where even a vacation can turn into a global health event.
Here we go. You know, so it's looking like they're gonna run with this narrative, man. You know, which, like I say, Lord willing, they do. You know, but all these things work in our favor, man. You know, may they, you know, bring shutdowns, lockdowns, and do what they got to do, man. You know, because this is necessary, okay, for a righteous kingdom to be established in the earth, man. You know, so let's go to another one. All right, because while they're doing all that, what are they still setting up? Okay, what are they setting up is that they continue to push, you know, crisis. Well, what's being set up in the background? Okay, so let's go to this, and then we're going to go to the effects that these data centers are having, man. You know, so let's look at this precept. Yeah, let's get to the precept, Brother Scott, and then we'll go to the next video. Okay, because they're still rolling out this B system, you know, as they're bringing about, all right, these you know, these crises, man. These crises are brewing. You know, they're running with these narratives, which, you know, they need lockdowns. Okay, even with the energy crisis, you know, they already started canceling flights. You know, but with the health thing, they can just ground flights, man. You know, for the sake of health. Okay, this 2 Corinthians 2:11. This is brother Ashokah, all right, Yasha'Allah. And it's 2 Corinthians 2:11 NLT says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes, man. And we know, okay, the devil's end game, what he's trying to accomplish. Okay, so we know that everything that he's doing, that he's pushing, okay, is to attempt this new world order. Okay, we know everything that he's doing is to reset the economy, all right, is to depopulate, okay, to create chaos and desperation, okay, and present the chip as the solution. Okay, so we know everything that the devil is doing, okay, it is all for his, all right, attempted new world order. Okay, so his attempt at a new world order, you know. So let's play this, because while they're doing, you know, these crises, what are they building out? Okay,
really important. We just had to limit how much data we could plow through, because it just wasn't, even though we had all the data models and the databases and all this stuff, we didn't have the computing power that they have now. And so now with this computing power, they can plow through all this data, all this metadata that they're creating. And in order to be able to do that, they need to store it somewhere. That's what all these data centers are. And so they're putting these up everywhere because they need them. And so that's why the industry is like, well, we need it just for basic functioning. They're not thinking through, well, the capabilities that they actually have, right? So I'm looking at it from like all different perspectives. I consider myself a system thinker. So I like to look at all the things, you know, create a structure of the way the world is, and then keep putting it in. What I love the most is something that changes my structural view of the world. When I get a paradigm change, it's almost like, oh, this is like the best, because then I change the structure. But you keep just filling it in and understanding what's really happening. And so there's the prevailing mainstream of why they're doing it. And then there's this other side of what the capabilities are as it's in place. And what people don't realize is they've been working on this for decades, and they've been spending $90 to $100 billion a year for decades, putting all of this in place, all this data tracking, all this data information. You know, Bill Binney, he was the NSA director. He was Snowden's mentor in the Snowden movie. He's somebody that I've interviewed many times, and we've gotten to know each other. He created, or he co-built that 6,000 person NSA center. And he told me years and years ago that this has been going on since at least the mid 90s, that they've been building out this infrastructure and they can track everybody all the time doing whatever on every device. Everything has a backdoor. If you think you have your stuff secure, you're wrong. Everything has a backdoor. You might be okay if you have something completely off the internet with a Faraday cage around it. Maybe you'll be okay. But everything is capable of being tracked.
And that's where Palantir, okay, because Palantir, it ties all the devices, all the platforms, okay, all the cameras, okay, so they can have a digital footprint of everyone. You see? So like, for instance, like your cell phone, okay, you already know, all right, Palantir can hack into your cell phone, know your real-time location, okay, you can hack into your TV, have cameras on you, in your living room, your room, okay, you can hack into your security cameras, okay, have access to, the movements of your house, okay. Let's say you're on your way to work, certain cameras can pick you up on the way to work, okay, all off this one, okay, centralized software, Palantir. That's how they're able to track, the different people of interest in these other nations. They're able to kill, nuclear scientists and, certain generals and particular things. Were able to do that because of Palantir has access to all the satellites, okay, all the cameras, all the devices, anything that's an electronic device, all right, that's connected to the internet. Well, Palantir can tap into it. Then it can link all of it with your social media. Say you have social media, they can link that with, even your work schedule. So you have your work schedule and it's on a computer. Like your job has your work schedule on a computer. Well, they can link it to that, know your work schedule. Okay, you spending money, with your digital, okay, with the credit card. Okay, so they know, okay, you spent money here, here, and they just can compile it all into one, okay, database, okay, and this is how they want to run this system, okay, and Palantir, is a facilitator, is a software, but then you have the data center, which is the hardware, okay, which makes it possible for Palantir to do everything that it does. You have Palantir, which is the software, and then you have the hardware, which is the data centers, the satellites, the actual cameras, drones that's going to have the cameras on it. That's the hardware, okay, that makes, it's the arms and legs of Palantir. Palantir being the brain, but the actual hardware, okay, is the arms and legs that make, Palantir possible, man. Okay, so let's play a little more.
And they are. Now the technology is catching up where they can sift through this data very quickly. And what does that mean? And that's what we can get into if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so, kind of looking at what you're saying, I'm glad you framed it as you did. It's like, here's a simple way of looking at it. It's like, okay, we've seen this mass increase in data centers. Well, okay, so it's not like all of a sudden, it's not like, say, the early 2000s when businesses that didn't have websites all of a sudden have websites now, right? It's like a lot of the uses of the internet are already pretty established. You have more internet companies and you have, obviously AI is a big part of that, but it's not like we're going through this big transformational change where you have, all of a sudden, a billion people are getting onto the internet over the course of, say, 3 or 4 years, right? Which is what we would have experienced before. But if I think that the key though is, you mentioned data, right? But it's the tracking data. And that's the thing is, okay, looking at here in America, we've got, 400 million people roughly. And if you look at all of the tracking points of that, where it's like they're collecting data, if you're wearing an Apple Watch, okay, every heartbeat is a piece of data. Every movement of your watch is a piece of data. The temperature of your skin, the temperature around you, it's a piece of data. If you're driving a car with this technology, right, everything around you becomes a piece of data. Your facial scan, what your face is doing, that's data. The flock camera, that sees you drive by and realizes you have a small dent on your front right quarter panel, right? This is all data. Your email that you're writing in Gmail, that's data. The screenshots that your Microsoft or your Apple computer is taking every so often as you work, that's data. And this is just the kind of bare minimum of it. It's like this, but this is what's happening is that it's like, okay, these data centers,
That's
like,
right.
in a large part, they're becoming these massive hubs for surveillance data. It's the data of surveilling every single human being living in America to the best that they can based upon what technology we allow. And then there's the other part of it, which is then the computing power needed to have the AI models process that data and turn it into something such as a social credit score, or even something as
That's right.
kind of innocent as an advertising recommendation.
Yeah, man, it's all leading to a control system. Okay, that's the point of these data centers. All right, like I said, AI, it is replacing, certain jobs. It is able to do certain tasks in the workforce. Okay, but ultimately, the AI, all right, the main function is going to be to manage, okay, and facilitate this control grid, all right, this control system. Okay. Now, fast forward just a little bit to show you the scale that these devils are trying to take it, man. And this devil is limited, man. Like, wait, like that's why the scriptures say, brother can get that as well. We always can use some precepts you can get every day, man. They did Matthew 24, 21. Except the Lord shorten the days, 21, 22. Okay. But let's play this just to see the scale of this nigga trying to do this, man.
There's actually, maybe I still have the page up that I covered. No, I think I might have closed it. But either way, I was looking at, oh yeah, here it is actually. This right here, just as an example. So this is from datacenterwatch.org, that $64 billion worth of data center projects have been blocked or delayed from local opposition. And this is really important because the power really does sit in the people. But the problem is that the people have been so social engineered to believe that they're powerless or to not even care, to be more concerned about the NFL draft than the data
That's
center
right.
that's going to poison their kids. But there is a big movement of people, and I want to actually bring up one thing. It just happened today, I think. So this, I'm not sure. Have you seen this before? This data center that they proposed in Utah.
I've seen a bunch of different. No, go through this one. Well, I
So
probably
this
have,
is
but I mean,
this is
let's go through-
crazy. This is a data center that's being proposed in Utah, 62 square miles. 62. It's like what? Yeah, 40,000 acres.
The
Okay.
craziness is because they're going to
62 square miles. A 62 square mile data center. That's crazy, man. Okay, you know how gigantic that is, man. All right, how many resources and how much, water and electricity they will take up, and this is why they want to depopulate, man. Okay, part of that depopulation is to make room, all right, for this this hardware, all right, this digital hardware that they need to run. Okay, this technocracy, man. Let's see. Let's see. Square. Let's see how many square. See how big, just to get a reference. Or how many square miles is. Okay, so they want to do a data center that's 62, 64 square miles. So just a quick look up. All right. So I looked up how many square miles is Rhode Island. All right. It says the state measures roughly 48 miles north, all right, to south, 37 miles, all right, east to west. So So I think it's a smaller state. Okay. So you're talking about, let me see. Maybe Keith figures is going to roll out of here. Maybe a city. Let me see. See the square miles of New York. It's New York City. I think that's a little bigger. Okay, so you're talking about a data center because New York is, all right, 300. New York City is 300 square miles. So you're talking a data center, okay, which would be like 1/5, okay, the size of New York City. Okay, a quarter of the size of New York City, just to give a reference of the scale of the data center that they're proposing. Okay, in what's that, Utah? Okay, now let's go into other things that's happening. We're gonna link it to these data centers, man. So when you go here, okay, to what's happening in Nevada, and all these things are just compounding one upon another, man. So let's listen to what's happening in Nevada. Okay, as these devils, because I say these crises are compounding. These devils, they're racing to roll this thing out, man. You see, you know, the Lord is really putting pressure on Esau, man. So let's play this.
Everybody's saying there's a drought in the West. What's going on? Lake Mead has dried up. Well, I'm here to tell you, Lake Mead has not dried up. We still have some water left. It's way over there. So there you have it. Myth debunked.
Lake Mead going away. You heard the rumors. I'm going to show you. I'm here right now, and it's bad. Okay, guys, if you could see that island right there that's going over to the marina, 2 weeks ago, that was not there. That was not there at all. That island right there. 2 weeks ago, that was underwater. Folks, I was here last week. When I came back, the water went down that I could notice it. Now I'm going to show you something else. Do you see the white line there on the mountain? That's where the water used to be. That's where the water used to be. Now I'm even going to show you more. So stay tuned. Folks, that is the old boat ramp. That's the old boat ramp. It can't even be used anymore. The water used to come all the way up to where that red truck is, and people used to dock their boats right there. Okay? They can't even use that anymore. They had to put the ramp way over there. So that's where we're at. And the water right here, this is the old lounge. The water used to be right here. Right here, folks. So is Lake Mead going away? Yes. Yes, it is. And our government's doing absolutely nothing.
This is what is going on right now within the United States of America, specifically over in Nevada right now. And it's actually kind of scary, guys. And a lot of people are reporting this. They're talking about this. A lot of residents, they're in an uproar about the situation. I mean, this is going on around the entire United States, probably the globe as we speak, because we're not, taking advantage, or we're not, taking the situation seriously across, even in states like Colorado, where they're talking about it's not enough cold air and there's not enough snow and all these different things is causing some of the lakes and things to dry up. Like, this is absolutely insane, but I'm not an expert on this. I'm just let you hear from the residents themselves, guys. Let's check this out, guys.
Yeah, it's real. This is the worst I've ever seen it. This is really bad. I was shocked when I came down and saw how low the water was.
These signs show how high the water was just a few years ago in 2021 and back in 2018.
Wow.
So much land exposed now, there's enough for a new walkway and bathroom before the boat launch.
You might have seen Lake Mead completely full in the early 80s.
I was here 15 years ago, and it was nothing like this. I mean, there was no concern over water. The levels were high. It wasn't hard to launch your boats or your jet skis or anything like that, but now it's really bad.
Boaters are warned to launch at their own risk due to the low lake level.
Well, certainly the conditions on the Colorado River are extremely dry. We had a very low snowpack over this past winter.
And that is where most of the water in Lake Mead comes from.
Yeah.
Bronson Mack with the Southern Nevada Water Authority says as the hottest months of the year are still ahead, expect the water level to continue to plunge.
Yeah.
Now Lake Mead is sitting at just under 35% capacity. Lake Mead could drop another 16 or more feet here before the end of the year.
And the Water Authority says that this is a critical situation that the entire Colorado River Basin is reckoning with.
This is absolutely insane. And it's gotten so bad to the point to where if you guys have not seen the Hoover Dam, I'm going to pull up a video of what the Hoover Dam actually looks like right now as we speak. I don't think I've ever seen it. You know, you guys always know the Hoover Dam is a great, attraction and places that people like to visit when they decide to go down to these areas. But, this is what it looks like right now as we speak. It is insane. I mean, truly, it makes me wonder, like, God, where are we headed? Mother Nature is very powerful, but at the same time, when we don't take certain things like this serious in the environment and all these different places around the world, then yeah, this is bound to happen, of course. But of course, here's another situation. Check out the Hoover Dam of what it looks like, though, guys.
Hoover Dam. It's just a spillway. When I moved here, it was pouring over the sides.
That's a dam. That's a sign. Bridge up the top there. See that?
Wow.
Oh, it's good. Australian, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh, the technology now is amazing.
Yeah, so as you guys can see right here, I mean, they're not completely out of water. Of course, you see the water right here, but I mean, it's dropping every single, week or day or month as the days come. So yes, it is. I'm not here to fearmonger and make you guys afraid and say, oh, they're running out of water. Whatever the case is, I'm not here to make you guys afraid. I'm just showing you guys what truly is happening right now within the state.
Take towers for Vegas. One of the OG ones that would grab water and pump it to Las Vegas.
Yeah, so this thing is well out of water now. It's actually not being used at all, obviously. But they used to suck the water in, and it would go all the way to Vegas for the casinos to use. Henderson, Vegas, wherever wanted it. That thing has never in the history of Meade been shown and exposed. And for the first time in history, they had to close that pipe. That's where the water used to be.
Whoa.
I mean, look at that drop. It's hard to see. Maybe it's hard to get the reference on camera to see just how much it's gone down, but standing next to this, that is absolutely wild. I can't believe this thing's about ready to get out of water too. Well, the water used to go all the way to the base of it. So now that we're close to this, you can kind of get a reference to how tall the water was. The water went all the way to the base of that thing. That back there's Boulder Launch. That's where we like launching our boat all the time, and completely dry. Drier than the crisp. Drier than the bone, whatever you want to call it.
Like a chicharron that you left out in the sun for 3 hours.
When we first moved here, there was a dude that told us that he broke his prop up there at the very top.
I don't know if you guys recognize this right here, but this was a launch ramp that we used to use for a few years here in Vegas. This was pretty much our go-to launch ramp. Yeah, the last 7 years we've been launching at this one launch ramp right here.
This all got puddled too, to where water got trapped, and there's just fish everywhere. What do you think that was? That almost looked like a tilapia, huh? It's probably a carp.
Truly, it seems like a movie. I mean, y'all.
And this is happening, in a lot of places, man. There's a few, all right, states complaining about no water. Now, let's go back to the data centers, man. All right, and let's go back here. Okay. Let's see. I think I still got it. Yeah, let's go here. And let's play this. I think this is happening all over. So you have, droughts, low water, no fertilizer, high fertilizer costs. It costs more money to ship the food due to gas prices, diesel going up. Okay, you have the war. All right, it's in progress. Okay. You have all these things happening, man. Pilot crisis, all these things compounding one another to bring about the worst time ever. You know, as the scriptures speak about that. Matter of fact, let's get that. Then we'll play this. Okay, this is Yep, my brother got that too. Yep. This is what we at? I think that's the book of Matthew. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21. All right, this is from the brother GMS Tazadak Yara 144K, or GMS DC Tazadak Yara 144K. This Matthew 24 and 21, it says, "For there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be." You know, and the Lord just has these things compound. These crises just compound on one another, and they're amplifying each other, man. You know, verse 22, and it says, "Except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved." Okay, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And how is the Lord shortening the days? By speeding up the times, man. Okay, speeding this thing, all right, to the end. You know, the Lord, okay, is wrapping this thing up. So he's causing Esau to go with his moves, man. You know, he's causing Esau to pull out, all right, all stops. Okay, and just to bring everything at once. Okay, in an attempt to try to establish a new world order. Okay, now let's go into the effect that these data centers are having on the water, you know, which, you know, a lot of these things, the devil, you know, he tampers with the weather, you know, then the Most High, he's doing things, man. He's drawing up the weather, man. You know, he's causing, you know, certain, you know, certain places to have no rain, that need rain. You know, certain places are staying colder, you know, longer than they should. Okay. So it's a lot going on. So let's play this.
Families across rural America are watching their wells and creeks run dry as big tech promises the future.
No water. Yes, there's no water.
Holy cow, what's next? You don't have water anymore. You know, you expect it to be there. You turn the faucet on, it should be there.
Big data companies keep saying, well, we plan to be water positive in the future. It doesn't change the fact that these wells are going dry right now. And it's not just happening here. It's actually happening globally. So when the water is gone, you can't drink the code. You can't grow food with server promises. They lied about the water. We're not going to let this disappear.
Oh, you look over here, there's an island. My grandma said we're going to have a picnic on there. Oh, I thought I'd find frogs because the minnows, I didn't see any frogs.
He just loves it out here. He's a country boy through and through.
No water. Yes, there's no water.
Yeah, Huxley Frank is just a normal kid. He dreams of dirt biking, frogs in the creek, picnics on the land with grandma, but his entire future just ran dry. You see, the nearby Meta Center promised that their $1 billion project would be water neutral. They swore upon it. Dry cooling, full restoration, but right next door as they drill into glacial soil, farms are drying up, family wells are literally going dry.
About a quarter of people in Wisconsin source their drinking water from private wells, according to the DNR. We're told 2 of those private wells in Dodge County just went dry.
No water, no warning, just literally the sound of a pump sucking air. No surprise, they lied about the water, and this Beaver Dam family is paying the price. In late February, the family well that's been reliable for generations just died. Low pressure, appliances quit working properly, then suddenly silence. Now, they're actually the second family to lose access to water in recent months. Now, I think that Frank Scott chose his words carefully when he said, I don't know what's causing it, but something has changed. This family just wants to continue living where they are. They just want the next generation, Huxley, to be able to have the dream of taking over the family farm. They just want clean, reliable water, the way that they have had it for generations until somebody else moved in. You guys have to realize that what I'm talking about here isn't just some sort of inconvenience. What I'm talking about is the end of a multi-generational farm. No livestock, no gardens, and actually no showers at all. Maybe, just make a guess. Meanwhile, of course, right around the corner, Meta is building their multi-billion-dollar AI empire. So here's what they don't put in the press releases. Beaver Dam, the area that this place is being built, sits on a shallow water glacial aquifer. These types of aquifers happen to be extremely sensitive. The data center never has to open to have an impact. That's because massive construction on this scale requires a significant amount of excavation. There's constant dewatering to keep the site dry. Quarries are constantly running to get more gravel and concrete. Now, all of this activity can create what we call a cone of depression. And a cone of depression can literally suck wells nearby dry. This isn't some sort of phenomenon I'm making up. Now, Meta is claiming that once they're up and running in 2027, they're going to use almost no water at all. They also claim that they're going to restore everything that they've created, which maybe there's some hope in 2027. But the reality is that right now in 2026, the ground.
And how this nigga gonna restore that? Okay, ain't no hope. Okay, Americans stop being so goddamn simple. Ain't no hope. That nigga lying. All right, how the hell is gonna take all this water to get started, but then he gonna go to no water? No, this nigga gonna require more water. Okay, more wells will run dry. Okay.
Ground is being ripped apart. Families are left high and dry with no real straight answers coming from any officials. You know, in a story like this, there's no real smoking gun, but the timing, the scale, and the science are all screaming questions. Questions that, frankly, Meta and local officials don't want to answer yet. It starts to look a little trickier when you look beyond Beaver Dam, though. This type of thing is happening near data center construction across America. Arizona, Idaho, Georgia. Rural families watching their wells and creeks literally die as big tech promises the future. In Georgia, Beverly and Jeff Morris, they live about 1,000 feet from one of Meta's mega centers. Months after construction started, guess what happened to their well? Ran dry.
This is cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage.
Appliances quit, toilets stopped flushing. That stinky just sat around.
Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
Beverly is 71 years old and literally hauling water in buckets to flush her toilet. She is afraid to drink the water that she has drank from for decades.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow. And that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah. And this is what's in all pipes.
She's already spent $5,000 trying to fix the damage and can't afford the $25,000 it's going to take to repair her well.
Just the well itself is probably $20,000, and that's not counting any of the
all
faucets.
the replacement of the fixtures and faucets
just
and
the way-
toilets and the lines that come underneath the house.
Meanwhile, a bill.
But hell, why repair the well when the data center gonna suck that one dry too? You see, at the end of the day, man, the earth has an Edomite problem. Okay, and that's where Yahweh Shai is coming to solve the Edomite problem of the earth, man. Okay, until this nigga is stopped, man, you know, it only gets worse. You see, if your brother can post that in Isaiah 14:6 in the NLT. Okay, and then let's get Revelation chapter 19 and 11 as well about Shah.
$1 billion corporation is just hammering away.
It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate.
Same company, same promises, same heartbreak. In Arizona, you're seeing the same thing. Water levels are dropping quickly as these mega data centers expand and suck it all dry. A lot of rural wells in these areas are dried up already. As these big data companies keep saying, well, we plan to be water positive in the future. It doesn't change the fact that these wells are going dry right now. Look at Idaho. In a place like Idaho, it's 181,000 acre feet of water, nearly 8,000 foot fields, 1 foot deep. I did a video on this recently. Another Meta AI data center, as well as other data centers, seem to be popping up in this area that has hardly any water at all. Farmers can't grow their potatoes. Farmers are getting cut off. Are the data centers? Like I said, guys, families across rural America are watching their wells and creeks run dry as big tech promises the future. And it's not just happening here. It's actually happening globally. In Mexico, residents that are near a massive Microsoft data center going in are dealing with weeks-long water outages. Have you heard of that? They're also dealing with a hepatitis scare. In Chile, one of Google, Uruguay, the Netherlands, Ireland, the same exact issue is playing out time and time again. These rural communities who grow the food that you have to eat in order to survive. You require food and nutrition in order to survive. These rural families and farmers are fighting as Silicon Valley builds server farms. Globally, these global communities are paying the price for artificial progress. What you need is something real, like food. And guess what? They're going to keep promising water neutral until your faucet runs dry too. None of these people are demanding that we shut it all down. But what they're asking for are real answers. They're asking for officials to actually investigate what the heck is going on. What they're doing is they're demanding honesty. Because guys, when the water is gone, you can't drink the code. You can't grow food with server promises. They lied about the water. If you're seeing these projects in your area, comment down below.
Yeah, so, and if you people expect the devil to be honest, okay, you a goddamn fool. Okay? But you just gonna keep asking this nigga to tell you the truth. Okay, so he can lie to you again. You know? Nah, man, the Lord is gonna intervene. You see, that's why you heathens, you have a false hope. All right, and you unbelievers, you have a false hope. You know, your mind says that one day, you know, the devil is going to do right by you. He's going to care about the environment. He's going to care about your circumstances. Okay, and he's going to do right by you somehow. It never happened, man. Okay, Esau not built to do that. And the brother can get also Revelation 11:18. Okay, and also John 10:10. Okay, but this is the brother servants of Yahushua 144. It says Isaiah 14:6. It says, it's the NLT. It says you struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny. Man, Esau don't care about your farm. He doesn't care about, all right, your family's legacy. Okay, your livestock. Okay, this man wants to bring mass death. He wants to depopulate. Okay, he wants to destroy, all right, private farming. Okay, and that's why he's strategically doing this all throughout the world, building these data centers in these rural areas and destroying all these farms. Okay, because in order to have complete control, he needs to create complete dependency on him. Okay, so he's intentionally doing these things, man. He's not, all right, you know, this devil, you know, he doesn't have good intentions and then he has some hiccups on the way. No, he's intentionally doing this, man. Okay, and you people, all right, that keep going to these town hall meetings, okay, and hoping that this nigga finally tells you the truth. Okay, he's showing you the truth. Okay, you wanted this nigga to verbalize some smooth words to you. Okay, but he's showing you the truth, man. Okay, he's intentionally building these data centers in these rural areas and destroying, all right, farming. Okay, that's the truth. You see, you Americans so goddamn dumbed down, okay, that you'll just keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, man. Nah, man. See, we know the solution is in progress, man. You see, we ain't got to go to a town hall meeting and demand the truth, all right, from these tech giants from Meta and whatever. Nah, man. The solution in progress, man. And it's because everything that we're seeing is a build up to Yahushua, Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. Okay, and that's Yahushua coming into this realm. Okay, it's Yahushua coming into this realm. You know, and what is he coming to do? All right, and that white horse is that chariot, man, that judgment seat, you know, power. You see, it says that he that set upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he does judge and make war, man. So Yahweh Shai is coming to make war with the beast, okay, with this wicked empire, man. You know, Esau and these heathens, man, okay, that are all in cahoots to bring about the digital new world order, man, which Yahweh Shai coming to destroy, man. Okay, Yahweh Shai been gave us the game about Esau. You niggas still think, all right, you people still think Esau, there's just a few of them that's off, but, you know, if you ask them enough, they're going to do right, man. Okay. We see how that's going to work. There's the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10 says, the thief coming not but for to steal and kill and destroy. That's all he can do. Okay, that's all Esau can do is steal, kill, and destroy. That's it. He can't do no good. Okay, even when the scene is good, he's setting you up to steal, kill, and destroy. Okay, it says, I am come that they, all right, this Yahweh Shai coming that they, which is the Israelites, might have life and that they might have it more abundantly, man. See, abundance comes through Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, all this devil knows how to do is to destroy the earth, man. That's it. That's the only thing that this nigga can do is destroy, to steal, okay? To be a tyrant, man, to be relentless. Okay? That's all this devil knows how to do, man. And he's showing, all right, his true nature more and more as he see the time short. Okay, this is Brother Yashima, tribe of Judah, Revelation 11 and 18. And it says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. Okay, and let me see, let's cut it off. I think it could. I know sometimes it do that. Let me see. Let me go to it real quick. That's on there. I'm gonna read off of here. All right. But see, Yahweh Shai is coming, all right, to destroy those that destroy the earth, man. Okay. And there's no doubt about it who's at the forefront of destroying the earth, man. It's Esau, man. Okay. Beginning with his elites. Okay. So I'm gonna read it from here. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come. See, now it's time for the Lord's anger. See, these crises is the Lord's anger. Okay. Esau, he's just a tool within the Lord's anger, man. All right. And the Lord's anger is going to turn towards this nigga, man. Okay. And destroy his infrastructure, his rulership, and he's going to captivity, man. Okay. In the time of the dead, these other nations, that they should be judged for following this nigga, man. And thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. Okay. Beginning with the first fruits, the 144,000, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, the rest of, okay, the 1/3, men, women, and children. Okay, it's going to be delivered. It says, it should destroy them which destroy the earth, man, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, he's at the forefront of the destruction of the earth, man. All right, and if this man does not stop, this man will destroy everything, man, including himself. The earth will be unlivable because he don't got it figured out, man. He don't know the effects of everything he's doing. He's just so blinded by his ambition to try to be the most high through technology, man. Okay? This nigga, he be winging a lot of shit, man. Okay? Don't look at this nigga like he got this thing mapped out and he just gonna pull, you know, he just gonna unveil this technological utopia to the earth. Nah, man, this shit tacky as hell. It's thrown together, man. Okay? You see, this shit is thrown together what he's doing. You know, and he's destroying the earth. You see? So this, let's go. I think the brother had something else posted I want to get. And we'll end it with Yeah, we ended with this one, the brother got. It's the brother Yaquab. All right, the hopeful led 3, Sirach 10 and 10. It said, the physician cut it off a long disease. Okay, and the physician is Yahweh Shai, and his long disease is Esau. Okay, this man is a disease that's on the loose. Okay, there's no virus bigger than the virus of the nation of Edom. Okay, which has corrupted the earth in every way that it can be corrupted, man. You know, to the point the Lord has to bring great judgment. Okay, and cleanse the earth with fire, man. Okay, it said the physician cut off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Okay, and that's Esau Edom, man. You know, and the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming to remove this nigga from power, man. Okay, that's the solution. You see, anything less than the fulfillment of prophecy, Yahweh Shai returning and waging war in righteousness and conquering the earth in righteousness, anything short of that, okay, is insufficient, man. All right, for the Edomite problem that's in the planet Earth. Okay, so that's the point. You know, I'll leave it there. You know, Lord will. All right, you brothers. All right, and you few sisters edified once again. When we give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, and Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful. Shalom.